This is not really happening. You bet your life it is. You bet your life it is. Honey, you bet your life it's a peel out the watch would just peel out the watch.
Tori Amos is a singer, songwriter, and pianist of American origin. She was born in 1963 and she taught herself to play piano at the age of 2. Apparently, she could perfectly reproduce things that she'd heard. She started to write songs at 3. At 5, she was the youngest ever student admitted to the Peabody Institute, which was a musical institute, their preparatory school in America. And at 11, she was asked to leave, or encouraged to leave. Her scholarship was ended. She claims that this was because she showed too much interest in rock and pop and had a reluctance to read music. So that in itself has a very fascinating background, which is that she didn't particularly read music, or still doesn't as far as I understand, but has a thing called chromesthesia. So this is a form of a thing called synesthesia. So synesthesia is when you have a crossover of the senses. It's not hugely common, but it's not also hugely rare either. So I have a mild form of this. Particularly, I get crossover between words and colours. So Tori Amos has the particular thing, which is chromesthesia, which is she interprets music and sounds that she hears as colours and structures and forms. And so she learns music by learning that thing that she sees and then being able to reproduce that through her playing. Right, moving on. In 13, she began playing in bars. So at 13, she began playing in bars. At about 23, in 1986, she formed a band called Why Can't Tori Read, which is about her not reading music, which created one album. After that, she worked for a while as a backing vocalist, but she was stuck in a contract with the publishers from the Why Can't Tori Read album. And so she started producing solo albums through that. Her first solo album came out in 1990 and was called Little Earthquakes, and she became a big star through this. And you've probably heard of her. She's had a lot of albums out since then. In fact, she's created 16 solo albums so far.
Hi, my name's Dan, and this is a review of Under the Pink by Tori Amos. It was her second album, and it was released in 1994. I have a copy of this. I do of about 3 or 4 Tori Amos albums. This was the first one that I got a copy of. So we're in the early 90s, 94, I guess that's nearly mid-90s, but there was a crop, to my mind. I tend to have this habit of lumping acts together in kind of scenes in my head, or something like that. And around this sort of time, I think there was a crop of interesting and fairly quirky female singer-songwriters emerging. So we've got as a strong kind of contemporaries, Tori Amos and Alanis Morissette. We've also got people like Sheryl Crow, Sam Brown, Liz Phair, Tracy Chapman, Katie Lang, Bjork, and also somehow Sophie B. Hawkins, to me. I don't think she's that well known. So this is singer-songwriter, I would say, quite strongly, with a very strong piano emphasis, with arrangements that vary from quite rocky to almost electronic to quite orchestral to mellow, and the piano is almost omnipresent through this. And she's a good piano player. There's no doubt about that. There's quite a lot of kind of switches and bills and breakdowns. There's different song structures going on here, and it's got what I think of as one of the hallmarks of singer-songwriter is that it's not really got a definitive style or a fixed style. It's always somewhere in the kind of light pop rock, kind of some of it a bit heavier, but kind of medium heaviness weight area. Musically, it's nicely done. It's really interesting. It definitely, as I've said several times, focuses on that piano. She's got a really nice voice, though. It's really expressive. She can do angsty, she can do mellow, she can do pathos, she can do bright and cheery, she can even do comic. And definitely kind of enigmatic, technically strong voice, but as I said, quite expressive. And she's got quite a lot to say here. There's songs are a real mix of stuff about people, about herself, about life. There's a certain amount of satire in here. Mostly it's painting pictures without clearly saying, giving a narrative or anything like that. Snatches of impressions. It's a bit like collage, uh, verbal collage. I did pick up though she really doesn't like a particular waitress. There's a healthy dose through the whole thing of her being somewhat off a rocker that I respect. And I used to the early days, so I got music as vinyl, and I was starting to get music as CDs, and then I started to digitize my music and collecting them in folders of different styles. And I had this style which I call off the wall women, and she was definitely in there and got a bit of that kind of yeah. Maybe there's a good screw loose or two in there. Conflict Girl is the best well-known song on the album, I would say. It's probably the first song of hers that I heard, and I liked it, which is why I got this album. And I've had it for the longest. I've listened to it several times since I did the 2 listens that I do for reviews. The track "Past the Mission" keeps being stuck in my head. I keep getting little bits of it as an earworm. I can. I don't know if anybody else has this. I can find that I've got like 3 or 4 earworms going on at once at times, and kind of alternate between them and things. Anyway, I really enjoy this album. It's up my quirky tree with a piano, and is kind of familiar space for me because I know the album. So it's not really that much of a kind of fresh listen and review. I think I've tried to do that one as much as I can, but I'm quite familiar. Uh, well, as always, this is just my opinion, and I'd love to know what your opinion is. So, will you let me know that, please, by leaving me a comment in the comment section somewhere down there? But that's it from me for now.